all the awesome lieutenants can come on in. Come on in and have a seat. Just got you guys sitting on the table. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Just sitting on the table? You got enough room? Sit down. Very informal. Okay, listen up. Relax. All right, hey, last class. Last class. Not for some of you. Some of you got a little bit more time. That's okay. But last class for this, for most of you seniors that are commissioning, long haul. Hey, look. So as I looked at an opportunity again to kind of set conditions for you walking out the door, going off to what you think BOLC is going to be like, what you think your first year being a platoon is going to be like, and kind of your development throughout this last, however long you've been in this program. I thought it would be very special to be able to bring in, a couple of folks that have been through this program and commissioned out of this program. Varying experiences, varying branches, varying levels of responsibility, and the expectations that they had a year ago, some of them over 2 or 3 years ago, that were sitting right here, right now, not having a clue what BOLC's going to be like, or really what it means to be a commissioned officer. So what a unique and awesome opportunity is to be able to then come in, share some of their experiences with you from the time they were sitting where you're sitting at all the way through BOLC to their first year or a couple of years, and just kind of talk to you guys and allow you to ask questions on no shit, what do I need, what do I expect, what is really BOLC like. All right, we got a couple of I'll let them all introduce themselves. I think you know probably most of them. You might not know Lieutenant Nelson and Lieutenant Strickland. But they are both grads back in 2012 and 2013. But I think you recognize the seniors from last year that we were just having a couple of jokes about your development, throughout the year, how much we know, what we think we know, moving on. But so we'll do this today. And if you could just go down the list and just remind us what year you graduated, what branch you're in, and we'll start with that. Okay.
So Second Lieutenant Cosfield, AG branch, graduated last year, 2014, with the 322 Civil Affairs up at Fort Shaw.
Lieutenant Strickland, graduated December 2012, so technically year group 13. Stationed at Schofield, 235 Cacti, in the 3rd Brigade in infantry.
Lieutenant, you graduated last year. Quartermaster branch, distribution platoon leader for 227 Infantry, 3rd Brigade.
Lieutenant Montreux, Class of 14, branch field artillery, up at the 487, Bravo Battery, Primo.
Second Lieutenant Frohlager, commissioned in 2014, Signal. I'm right now with the 30th Signal Battalion Network Exchange Center.
Lieutenant Sun, graduated last year, part of 127 Infantry, Wolfhounds.
And what branch are you?
Chemical.
Chemical. In an infantry battalion. Okay, just wanted to highlight that.
Lieutenant Malvayan. I'm 303 MEB, military police. I'm an assistant S3. I graduated 2014.
United States Army Reserves.
Cool.
And I'm Chris Nelson. I graduated in spring of 2012. An MI officer stationed at Schofield, but tasked out to PACOM right now.
Okay, what special unit are you part of?
Red Phoenix, sir.
Okay, I didn't want to go that specialized, but you're attached over to SOCA or the.
Roger, SOCA access.
Roger. All right. Well, good. So this is going to be unorganized chaos because all of you have got varying. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about experiences at BOLC. Leaving here, transitioning on our PCS from this program to back to the United States to go to BOLC. What was the pain with that? Any good lessons learned for these kids that we can kind of talk about?
We're going in order, or
no? Just whatever. Lessons learned from here to BOLC. We won't talk about BOLC yet. But just PCS.
Packing bags, I would say, because I only packed 3 bags and it was not enough.
Okay.
I packed 3 bags and it was too much.
I packed 2. It was way too much. All you need is uniforms instead of clothes.
What kind of items? what was too much? What was not enough?
They'll actually send you a packing list. It's like an introduction letter, and it's to say what you need. And I would recommend getting your stuff stitched on. It makes things a lot easier when you go out to the field. And have 2, 3, field uniforms and 1 good uniform for class. Should be good enough. Or 2 and 2.
One of the biggest things you're gonna want to take, where you're gonna get jump on quick, is when you get your BOLC dates, know the difference between a BOLC that's a PCS and a BOLC that's a TDY, because that's the difference between how you pack your traveling and all that. You got to go to Fort Shafter to do your travel. That's why all the cadets here do it, and you have to make sure that your funding code on there, because a lot of times they'll kick back your orders and they'll say, oh, you fall under 25th land, but you don't. You actually fall under ROTC, you fall under Cadet Command. So just understand that in order for it to be a TDY, if you have a TDY BOLC, then you require that 1610. They're the actual TDY orders that send you to BOLC. If it's a PCS, like 6 months or more, then you require just your regular orders. Because they kept kicking us back and forth when we kept going for hours. Like, oh, you need that 1610. I'm like, what's this? I got my orders. It says I'm going to BOLC. It says I'm coming here. And they're like, yeah, but we need your TDY orders to send you to BOLC because it's not a PCS, because mine was only 4.5 months.
Because you were going there and coming back.
Yes, sir.
Actually,
And it was less than 6 months for me. So
signal BOLC, you don't get 16.
All right.
Anyone going National Guard, your unit takes care of that.
Yeah.
Everything goes through your training NCO, your readiness NCO. They handle that.
All right.
And we're going infantry, she already knows PCS. So.
You're going to be a Benny for a while. Hopefully not too long, but for the right amount of time. All right. Any other transition out of here to back to the mainline? What about driving? I mean, how many of you guys have not driven 6 hours in a car before ever?
I still got
No? You believe it or not, most of these, some of these cadets have never driven over 3 hours, maybe 2 hours. 2 hours? 2.5 hours. Yeah. So talking about getting your car. Did any of you have to drive from LA to your BOLC?
LA to Huachuca. It was like 13 hours, 11 hours.
13 hours from LA, so you shipped your car to LA and then picked it up?
Roger, sir.
How much of a pain in the ass was that?
It was cool.
Too easy?
It was easy. Stop in Scottsdale.
I didn't have a car. I had to run and walk back and forth from class.
Yeah.
So how important is having a car at BOLC?
Very important.
It's very important, I would say.
It's not
It was
important
close
for
enough, I
quartermaster
can afford
BOLC.
it.
If you get along with people, it's not that important.
Get along with people.
Make friends. Yeah. If you don't have a car, you need to make friends because then you'll be walking everywhere.
Yeah.
If you're branching quartermaster or ordnance or TC, I'm telling you that right
And
now.
why is
Schoolhouse, the hotel, everything is all within 5 minutes of each other. You can walk there, you can walk back. There's 45 people in your class at any given time. Most of them drive there from their units, so you can always hop a ride with someone. So it's not important to have a car if you're in that. If you're branching in the logistics field, at least for BOLC, it ain't.
If you're chem, engineer, or military police, you might want to need a car if you're going there.
Plus you can get
your
away.
class is halfway across space.
Lost in the woods.
Yeah.
Plus you don't want to stay there on the weekends.
You don't.
Anyone going National Guard? Guard's broke. They aren't going to get you a car. Just saying that. Make friends.
Reserves, talk to your unit, and then they'll hook you up with a car. From what I was told. I don't know, but I heard it happens. Yeah.
These are your TDY orders that you get for your BOLC if your BOLC is less than 6 months. These are the ones you're going to show to Carson Travel at Fort Carson or Fort Shafter.
Yeah.
Or
You do it at
Washington.
Schofield too.
That-
Mine, so.
Good job. Not all branches get 16
Yeah,
tenths.
you said signal, no?
Yeah. There's only 2 or 3 branches that get 16 tenths. The rest, no 16 tenths. It's all on your orders.
All right, so leave it out of here with what you thought you knew as a commissioned officer with the hashtag in the back of the uniform saying made by the University of Hawaii. During the BOLC. What are the expectations going? What was BOLC like? Good, bad, ugly? How'd you fit in? Where were you ranked against your peers? Do you think you were prepared? Did you learn any damn thing? Just anywhere, start.
For those who prior service, I just thought I was going back to AIT. Yeah. When I got my own hotel room, though, it just blew my mind.
Yeah. It was the easiest course ever, so.
Huh?
It was the easiest course I've ever been to.
Really?
Roger.
MI BOLC?
Roger.
Did it prepare you to be an MI officer?
It did. They did a good job with the curriculum and the approach to training, to teaching it. But stress-wise, there was zero.
I have a question for Lieutenant Girl. When you went to BOLC, when did you go to BOLC? What was your
Commissioned the 19th, it was like 2 weeks later, so June 3rd.
You left the day before me. I left the 7th. The day before me. Because we all hung out at my place before, remember?
I was 2 weeks after I commissioned. So.
Was it cold?
Oh no, man. No, Gordon's humid. Who's Gibson, right? Georgia? It's humid.
I have a question for Lieutenant Girl. Did you receive any packet from bowling?
Yes.
When did you receive it?
I received an email from one of the NCOs that, sorry, he emailed me saying that, you know, hey, go here. But I could look into my old emails to see if I could find something if you guys need something like that.
Yeah, compared to last year when you commissioned, how late in the semester did you receive your official orders? And then from there, how late did you receive your BOLC packet? Because like I don't know what to bring. I don't know. I didn't receive a packet.
I've ever been contacted by now. So yeah, but like my orders, I can't remember exactly when I got my orders, but I got my orders, then I got contacted. It was like 2 months before I commissioned. So yeah, because I was doing back and forth. They were like skill ports. Have you ever done your skill ports for Security Plus and Net Plus? You know, it'd be a good idea to start now, but you need a CAT card. So unfortunately, if you don't have that, you know, just go get a little more busier than BOLC.
Same thing if you got your welcome packet for TC, Quartermaster Ordnance. There's a ton of online training they want you to knock out before you get there. You can do it there, but it's just you're just gonna be up late doing it. So it has a list before the web page where it says you just pick your branch and it says breaks down everything for you. You might want to get all this done before you go there. This way, you know, cause that's literally one of your assignments in class. And it's like, oh, I'm good for the day. Did all this. Here's my certs. You know.
In Signal, getting your CompT, Net Plus, and Sec Plus certification is one of the hardest tests. But you already have it. Odds are you are the academic officer. That's up.
What else about BOLC?
It was a lot of figuring it out yourself. I remember I got tasked to run the Mark 19 range. And I didn't know how to do it, and I was, sir, I don't know how to do this. He goes, figure it out, LT. Look at apd.com, find what you need. I was like, okay. I still don't understand. And then they want you to look for everything before you ask questions, so make sure you do your research. So when they ask you, I expect you to do this, do your research. If you still don't understand, then that's when you get help. So make sure you do that.
Be prepared to take your PT test like within the first week.
Oh yeah.
And make height weight students.
But that's no sweat for you guys.
Yeah, and if you guys get the opportunity to do the GAFB, they're going to put an officer in charge of it. Make sure you do that towards the beginning of the course when everybody's fit, if you go to a course like MI, because the PT sucks. So you're going to get out of shape, and by the time somebody gets off their butt to organize the events, you're going to be out of shape. Just to let
German Armed Forces proficiency guy.
Roger.
At my BOLC, they actually had a German general come in and run the GAFB for us. They also have Ranger Challenge here at Quartermaster too, if you want to do that. They have a guy by the name of Bucky. If you're going TC Ordnance Quartermaster, a guy named Bucky. He's a prior Special Forces, prior Ranger Regiment guy, and he puts you guys through all the training. And if he likes you, he will actually put your name up for Ranger School and select it. Everyone he's ever recommended to go has gone to Ranger School, follow on. They've had their orders changed from there. So if that's something you want to do, go in there. It's something you can do.
I'll say something about BOLC. My BOLC experience is probably a little different, or a lot different to most of you guys. I know I talked to Reading. Who else was on this mission with me? Hello, yeah. A couple of you guys. I talked to, I think, the last guys to go over there, just over the phone and whatnot. But some things that cross over, no matter what. When you get to BOLC, like any Army school, they're going to tell you everything you need to know when you get there. So just to put your minds at ease right now, yeah, you can prepare things ahead of time, but when you get there, they're going to give you everything you need to know. Just make sure that you do the best. Shoot to be in the top 10%. You guys, so you mentioned, or you asked us, what did we feel like going to BOLC from here? To me, I felt confident, to be honest, and you guys should too, coming from University of Hawaii. For those of you that went to LDAC, I know it's changed. I don't know exactly what the changes were, but you can see the quality of other cadets from other schools, right? You guys see the difference between University of Hawaii, you guys coming, the training you get here, compared to what the rest of the people knew. So you guys should be confident going to BOLC, knowing that, yeah, you're held to high standards here. You guys are trained well, you guys get good PT, so you should go in with that, the attitude, yeah, I'm going to be one of the best here, and then push yourselves right there. So.
Don't take land nav lightly in Georgia. We had a lieutenant die. He stroked.
So who had to do land nav at BOLC?
It's easy after the land nav here.
Yeah.
We don't do land nav here anymore.
Never mind.
So that's interesting. Every single one of you had to do land nav at BOLC.
It's required.
Yeah.
It's required.
Day and night.
No flashlight.
Wow.
By yourself.
In the rain.
Hands tied. We had glow sticks.
Okay, what other tests or, you know, PT or whatever at BOLC, I mean, that you guys experienced?
I have something to say about the BOLC real fast. Just go back to the beginning, the actual young process. One of the biggest hiccups I saw as far as Guard and Reserve that are coming active duty, a lot of them are having pay issues.
Yes.
We had the finance brief right there. A lot of them, and the biggest issue sticking they were complaining about was when they commissioned, they would, I guess this is for the SMPs or whatever, they would submit their paperwork to their orderly room, but their orderly room wouldn't push the paperwork up, so they weren't discharged from their unit. So DFAS wouldn't pay them. I mean, I had one guy in my class, he went 3 months without getting paid. He had to pull out the AR loan, whole 9 yards. So one of the things they harped on about to our class was make sure you tell your buddies when they commission and all that, ensure they get discharged from their unit before they head to BOLC. It just makes it easy. Your pay's gonna be jacked up regardless the first month. So.
National Guard's pretty good here,
Yeah.
but the reserves, that's really, really high
Yeah.
pushback on you guys.
Hey, just real quick back to did they train you how to do line nav, or did they say, okay, you're doing line nav next week?
Well, I don't know about them, but for us, we got obviously the map reading class.
So
We did
there's
our
a
pace
training
count.
for it?
There was a 2 to 3 day training. You have 2
days,
weeks of
yeah.
tactics. You
Yeah.
go all through tactics and all that, and then they do.
Did all of you do tactics?
I did a week of tactics. We only threw a week.
Okay.
MI doesn't do tactics.
Okay. Okay, but it wasn't like, I mean, I know if they implement
like
one, they don't
this.
give you, you know, probably don't give you, I think they do maybe give you a class or something.
Refresher.
A refresher.
Yeah.
So the expectation, you thought the expectation would be that you had to know how to do line nav prior to going to your BOLC?
Yeah.
Yeah?
The first thing they say, did you train on this when you were a cadet? Or
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Straight up.
Yeah. So that's crazy. You guys don't do land. Not even at Bellows out here.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's been a little bit of a shift in what the officer is supposed to be coming out of commissioning school.
So does that mean you guys focus more on like the garrison type responsibilities as a lieutenant?
Can't spell loss
You
without
guys,
LT.
your guys' class, yeah.
Yeah.
You're just in front of me when I was leaving. One other thing I'll hit on with BOLC is kind of instead of from here to BOLC, look at BOLC to your unit. At least mine didn't really teach me a whole lot of what I'd be doing as a lieutenant, as a platoon leader, as sitting in S3. We did land nav, we did a lot of tactics, we did a lot of field time for me, but they didn't tell us like, hey, this is how to inventory your property, or this is a hand receipt, or this is a counseling form, this is, you know, 4856, all these numbers that got to my unit, and I was in prior service like a few guys in active duty at least, so I didn't know what 2062 was. I didn't know all of that, the numbers they threw at me, you know. So it's definitely a steep learning curve when you get to your unit. Don't feel like BOLC is gonna totally equip you. Just get as much as you can out of it. Talk to people. That's the biggest thing.
Did any of you guys go MI? If you get the opportunity, if you're doing well in class, take the Quick Start program if you get the opportunity. You get to go to Fort Bragg and support a unit to go downrange to deploy for 4 months. And it'll be the best 4 months of your career until you can hit major. So.
Don't turn down these schools.
Yeah.
Don't turn down these schools. I've been Ranger school.
You can't look it up.
They
So
give
look it
you
up.
out, like,
I can't
you
look it
don't-
up. So.
You don't know until you go. Really, like the hype is up here. In reality, the difficulty is here. You know, that's just how it is. And you'll see, for those of you who've already been to air assault, what are the schools? Like, don't believe the hype. Just do the school, and you guys, you'll be surprised at what you can make it through.
Anything else about BOLC?
be on time. I'm serious. I'm like, BOLC, man, that is one thing.
Yeah, let's talk about time management. How's time management, you know, coming from a college student? You know what I mean? We're in ROTC world where, you know, you're here 10 hours a week, you know, versus now going and you're kind of in a different environment with time management and managing all the requirements that you have throughout BOLC. Any challenges with that?
I thought BOLC was a little bit easier than going to school because you're just focusing on like the Army. You're not juggling two at the same time.
Or a job.
Ours is different. Ours is they gave us these things called TOOTs, like tactical exercises without troops. and they gave us a base order that was like 50 pages long, and then in 3 days we would have to put out our op order, which was like 20 to 26 pages. And we had 3 days to do it, and then they'd send out another one to do another 3 days, and it just went like that for like 2 weeks. So it was hard to procrastinate. We didn't want to procrastinate, so like we're always. It's not that we had school and class, so a lot of my nights were gone. Time management wise, I was working almost every time I had the chance. I didn't really have no free time.
What about your weekend?
Oh well, yeah, weekends. We worked through it. You like as much as you like want. Sometimes you'll take it, but other times you want to get ahead of the game. So you have free time later, and it pays off. And like I had a good like 3 or 4 days of doing nothing because I already took most of my teeth done within the first week and a half. Work with other people, and it should be good.
BOLC is not hard.
Yeah, it's
not hard, but going back to college time management ideas, procrastination doesn't work anymore. It works in college pretty well. Doesn't work after that too much. So the habits that someone told me at BOLC that stuck with me, said the habits you establish at BOLC will carry with you to your unit.
Yeah.
So build the habits that you want to have in your unit starting at BOLC.
And first impressions too is like everything for like some of your we call them SGLs. I don't know what you guys call them. Your like leaders. It's like either 2 captains and a major. And first impressions. What I witnessed was a good thing because I remember they gave this guy ALT. You're gonna be the first squad. He goes fuck. And then it was, oh, you don't want it? Okay, next. You got a negative spot for right there. So first impressions and everything. And that just set his tone for like the rest of the time where they're like, oh, we're not making him squad leader, make him team leader. Never got his eval.
There is class leadership, like you'll
Yeah.
be assigned like squad leader and like class leader and stuff like that.
Like think of it kind of like LDAC, I guess you can say pretty much, right?
Yeah, but like
Yeah, but you have an eval like every year. Throughout the whole time you have either 2 or 3 evals, like 1 in garrison and like a couple in the field, and then I think 1 in staff for us.
Yeah. Take the staff jobs if they offer them to you. Don't hide from the staff jobs. When we went to when my class started in BOLC, they were like, okay, so who wants to be S1, who wants to be S2, class leader and all that. And you can see the dudes push forward, the dudes push back.
Yeah.
So, take those because those are good evaluations for you on there, and it reflects on the peer evaluations. Peer evaluations are like any class, you're going to have your divisions. There's always divisions in a class. There's always cliques. There's always people that are just not going to like people because they're not like-minded like them. But when that peer evaluation comes out, that first one for your class, that's when who said this about me? So-and-so said this about me. You're that class leader, squash that shit quick.
Yeah.
You got to suppress that cancer at its lowest level because it's going to spread and you're not going to work together as a team. And then those bad habits are going to follow those lieutenants when they go off to their other units.
So how hard is it to kind of form that team at BOLC? Obviously we've been working together for a while, but now we're really, some of us will go to BOLC together. But was it hard? You see people only worried about themselves?
Sometimes, sir, but you sort of have the you might be lucky and find a bunch of people you know that you went to LDAC with, or people you know that you went from ROTC with, and, but the challenge is going to be to go outside from that comfort zone and actually try to form bonds with people you don't know. So.
My class is really divided compared to the other class because you go in with 2 classes at AG BOLC. There's A class, B class. I was in B class, but A class was very cohesive versus our class who was very divided. So you could tell between the different classes who worked better with who and which class was going to succeed more.
How are West Pointers?
We didn't have any.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had the stereotype that West Pointers were uptight, but ours are high speed and they're cool. They're really good. Like they're not your stereotypical West Pointers. I thought they were one of the best ones, but they're the lower part of their class. So I think West Pointers so far the lower ones are cool. Yeah, it's no because
they always show up late to BOLC.
Yeah, they're
BOLC
first class. Yeah. And they said, yeah, it's the higher echelon there, like that. Really cool. I was like, okay.
I had 16 in my class, and my whole class got along great. There was like 1 or 2 bad apples, but they didn't hang out with us anyways. Our class got together so well. We did all events well. We had cool parties. We even had like 115-6 investigation based on one party. It was nobody did anything wrong. It's just that there was a perception there, so you got to be careful with perceptions, of course. But if your class gets along great, just run with it. If it doesn't, then try to be that person that brings it together.
I ran, prior service ran into a lot of issues with us. cadets kind of look down on them. They form their own clique as well. That causes a lot of issues as well.
The ADOs?
Well, reserve, anyone with prior service, not just ADOs. But, that caused a lot of issues in some, such as the sharks, when people were trying to, stand out, they'll like sharpshoot people, hold information, stuff like that. Of course, I'm not over that. But yeah.
Any questions?
From a signal perspective, what would you say are some tips to, as far as how to be successful at the school?
I only can, based off of what I did, don't go there just to be, don't go there try to be the best, just be your best. When you start trying to, crawl on top of people to get to the top, you make enemies, and that, like you said, that hurts your peer evals. Just try to be helpful. For those who are prior service, being an NCO, help mentor and stuff like that. That goes a long way. I didn't, go forward for the staff position, but I was here and there trying to help people out because of my prior experience, and I won the leadership award in BOLC. So I did something right.
How was the study or the school?
It's not as bad as something other people have said. As long as you manage your time well, the skill ports take up a lot of your time, and studying for the CompT exams, that takes up a lot of time. But other than that, your weekends are pretty much free, and if you take good notes, especially during going through WinT network and radios, you should be fine.
Are the tests multiple choice?
Yes. Well, it would be.
So it's like is it all data? Is it data? That you're, you know what I mean?
For signal, it wasn't like when you do the radios, you actually get hands-on, it's not multiple choice, but a good portion of it is.
For quartermaster branch, it's and TC and ordnance are pretty much the same. You make your money in your knowledge of your system's capabilities. That's where your ability to make terrain model kits, your ability to produce field trains and understand your vehicles, your fuel, your water, and all that stuff, and how you can use that in a platoon to support a battalion. The new MTO FSC supports battalions now. That stuff. You're golden. We had 10 people in the running for Distinguished Honor Grad near the end, and at the end what separated it, and what got me Distinguished Honor Grad was the fact that I knew the systems better than anyone else as far as the capabilities of your LHS, your PLS, your HEMETs, all that stuff, and then how you properly employ them while you're having sound tactical judgment, and how you put your security on the elements, you redistribute your supply lines throughout and all that other stuff. So when I briefed all that, that's what separated us from quartermaster bullet, and TC is the exact same. TC bullet, and it really should be the same bullet. It's the exact same. You just know your systems. You know your systems, you're doing great.
I'm kind of asking everyone here, but how's working with cadre? I understand most cadre are NCOs.
For mine, it's mostly officers.
Okay. we had one. Like we repaired 2 and then 1 NCO.
Okay.
We had NCOs in tactics.
Yeah.
That's where they fell in on us. And
Like
they crushed us.
A-BOLC, so A-BOLC, most of them are NCOs, and from what I've read and stuff like that, a lot of people had issues working with some NCOs, especially a lot of prior service people. But
I had no issues. No, they're in, granted you're an officer, you're not ranked anything like that, but
you're a student, dude. You're
just show them the respect that they deserve and they earn, and you'll be fine. Just
be humble. Don't let it get to you. They may yell at you. You said A-BOLC, so yeah, probably similar to I-BOLC. Just we had a bunch of E6s running out, training 1 E7, and then 1 captain who was there now and then. But yeah, just take the learning, just like here at RTC, right? Students.
What I would say is for BOLC, just be able to, give a helping hand and being able to help each other. Because when you get to BOLC, for me chemical, you literally have a class, and then the next day you're taking a test. You have another class, you're taking another test, and pretty much just form like a study group. Don't wait for a cadre to tell you, hey, you guys need to form a study group to help each other out. Just take the initiative. Hey, I'm going to go over to this hall. We're going to study. If you guys want to join us, I'm here to help. I understand what's going on here, what that system is capable of, and it makes taking the test easier. And of course, you have your. If you fail one, you got to take it again, but you really don't want to do that. I passed all my tests.
What about discipline? I mean, you got cadets that are just there to screw off and.
The NCO came out on me one time. I yelled at one. But I later apologized to him.
I'm talking like DUIs and drugs and all that.
It happens all the time, brother.
Yeah.
We have a seatbelt incident, but no DUI.
Seatbelt.
Yeah, seatbelt.
I think it really depends like where your BOLC is. Like for me, I went to South Carolina. So USC is right there, University of South Carolina. So we have a huge college town, and I went right in the middle of football season. So every weekend was party, tailgates, and stuff like that. And you would hear stories about people getting into trouble. Just don't be that person.
Yeah. I mean, what a waste, right? All of this time and effort to go over there and get kicked out and dropped. Some of the guys, they'll tell you when you get there in your safety briefs, like people having to pay back thousands and thousands of dollars because they got kicked out, pay back their scholarship, all this other stuff. So, yeah, be wise, be cautious. Just don't do that.
It's not worth it. I mean, you guys worked hard 4 years. You guys are trying to earn this lieutenant rank. You know, just think about that. Think about why you guys wanted to become lieutenants, you know? Just, there's this one story where a guy drove and he didn't, pretty much told the MPs, hey, they wanted to give him a breathalyzer and he didn't do it, so he got kicked out. That easy. Even if he didn't drink, he refused a breathalyzer. It's just a policy on post.
Yeah.
You have to read those, understand what the rules are on post too. But the cadre over there will tell you what.
You'll see some crazy stuff. You'll see people do some off-the-wall stuff, but yeah, don't ride with those guys.
Alright, so you guys are leaving BOLC now, you're heading off to your first unit, alright? When you got to your unit and you spent a little bit of time in your unit, what is something you wish you would have done more of at BOLC in order to set you up for success going forward in your unit? What are some of those things at BOLC where you're like, man, I wish I would have done more of?
I researched a lot about BOLC before I went. I did research the wolf hound before I showed up.
Yeah. Contact your unit before you leave BOLC. Just contact the S1. Let them know who you are and coming in. If they don't already contact you, they should, but they don't. Communicate with people.
Reason being, my case was a special case because I was going to a distro platoon, an FSC company, and when you're a log officer, I don't know if any guys who branch TC or quartermaster, whatever, you fall kind of under two bosses. Because if you're in an FSC company, you're task ordered under that infantry battalion or that artillery battalion or whatever engineer battalion you're under. But you're organic to the BSB. So I thought I was going to the BSB, so I shot Colonel Disney an email, hey sir, I'm this, that, and third, blah, 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 and I'm coming to you. And then the day I got to Schofield Barracks, they said, you're going to FSC. Commander said, do you email Colonel Williams? Who? Before I know it, you're not wearing a Mustang t-shirt, you're wearing a Wolfhound t-shirt. So I emailed him the day of, but so just make sure you understand where you belong task force wise. This way you know you're emailing the right leadership.
Interesting. Task force wise. We know that, right? Over this semester on what the Army looks like from a brigade above.
Also with what you just said, some BOLCs, and I know ours did have like a meet and greet opportunity that you can have with all the senior officers in your branch that are on post at that time. And that's real important to start getting that FaceTime interaction with those people and present yourself well. I met up with the chief of the schoolhouse there, who had just left 25th ID as the G2, Colonel Botters, and introduced myself, said, hey, I'm going there. He said, hey, you need to email Colonel Ford and introduce yourself, so I sent him a letter of introduction. I got there, they snagged me out of my unit and put me up in the division as a SSO, as a primary in that shop. It was a lot of work, but it was an awesome job to have as a second lieutenant because you get exposure to things that majors in your branch are supposed to know, but they don't know about yet. So he hooked me up, and it was that face-to-face time that I had with the senior officers there on post to give those name recommendations. And if they give you a name recommendation, say, hey, you should hit this guy up. Don't just blow it out the other ear. Look him up on Outlook, find him somehow, and send him a note to say, hey, this guy said say hello to you, this is who I am, this is what I've done. I got number 3 at LDAC, I was first in my class at UH or something like that. It'll pay off.
I think a caveat off that, it also boils down to go on AKO, go on HRC, and know what your career path is. Know what actually is KD time for you. I'm not sure about MI, but I don't think you guys have KD time as platoon leader, correct?
That's one of the KD
Is
times.
it
I haven't
one
had a
KD time?
platoon yet.
Some
I
don't
haven't
have
had any
KD
KD
time
time
in
yet.
certain. So when you go into there and say, okay, you're going to be this, that, and the third, it's going to be great for you. You're a new lieutenant, you're over there, oh yeah, that's great. And you're sitting there and you're thinking, after you start researching, like, wait a minute, I'm wasting time here. I need to be in this position doing this because this is the one that I'm going to be getting looked at when I come up from my captain's board down the road. So just know what your KD time is. For example, for quartermaster, we don't have KD time as XOs. But it's a good thing to have under your belt, executive officer time. So you're going to want that, but it's not required to have that before your captain's board. So it's not held against you if you don't have it. They're probably going to wonder why you didn't have it. So.
And as us one, like you'll have soldiers come and ask you like where their career progression is and what they need to do to promote. And also officers will come in and ask like what the KD time is. And then you can pull up the FMs and you can show them exactly what you need to do the stepping stones to where you want to be. It's a really good one question.
You don't always get those KD positions though, but if you don't get it, just try to make the best of it. Don't soul it, don't half-ass it. It's not necessarily the KD time is great. I've worked with a lot of officers in time. Not all of them get those KD opportunities, but what the positions they were in, they excelled in it. They made themselves look great in their OERs and everything like that, and they were able to get promoted still. KD time helps, but whatever position you're in, just do your best in it. Branch out, create something new.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly what he said. I just met a colonel that never had KD time yet, so it's possible. That's not the ideal route. It's possible.
Plus, even if you're not in the job that you want or not in that KD or whatever, your team deserves the best, no matter what. Bloom where you're playing, right? Your soldiers, your subordinates, your peers, your superiors, they deserve your absolute best every single day, no matter what.
Wherever position you come in, leave it better. Yourself and the position.
Any other lessons from BOLC you wish you could think about it?
I was taught 3 units before I got to my unit, so I couldn't even get heads up. So, but information assurance would have helped a lot if I read up on that before I got my job.
To find out, maybe hopefully find out what unit you go into, do some research on that unit, the history of that unit. That's going to be hugely important, obviously, when you show up to kind of leg up having that understanding.
I understand when I live on post, off post. I know a guy who left BOLC, and when he went to his unit as a PL here on island of the 307 battalion, his unit did not give him any permissive TDY to look for a place or any time off to find a home. So he ended up owing money because he had to stay in the hotel for an extra month. So start looking for places just ahead of time.
Yep.
That actually reminds me, I did have a question about that. Even BOLC, you get that 30-day window to, you can choose to either apply for leave or report to your unit early. Anyway, on my orders, it says I'm going to JBLM and that they don't have housing for single soldiers, single officers, so I have to look off post. But before you look off post, I guess active duty, and I've never been active duty before, you have to report to the people who have housing office. So how are we supposed to look for housing in advance?
They should have an orientation when you get to your unit, and then they'll tell you where everything's at.
So basically what the housing office is going to do is they're going to tell you like to stay away from certain areas and give you listings of apartments or housing that is not like permissible with military options. So then they'll give you that list, and from there you'll go and find a house or whatever and bring the lease back and show it to housing.
There's websites you can give them a call and like you do research in areas, how the traffic, how they're getting back and forth, rents compared to property values in the area, and so on forth, so on, and whether or not they have a clause in the lease will let you break the lease if you get deployed, and so forth.
AHRN is a good website if you haven't heard about it yet.
So, permissive TDY. Okay, does everyone know what permissive TDY is?
Right, this one.
Who doesn't? Raise your hand. Okay, that is 10 days that you can get when you arrive at your new duty station in order to look for a home. Okay, so that means that if you find a home in 4 days, what does that mean?
It means you don't report it.
Yeah, you don't have that extra 6 days to go to work. Okay, it's to find a home.
Means you don't report
it. Okay, to get your home there and stuff like that. Okay, so to avoid issues where a unit might not allow you, so to speak, before you depart BOLC, one of the things that you're going to have to fill out is a leave form. In the comment section of that leave form, make sure that you talk about asking for 10 days of permissive TDY and count that on the days that you're asking for leave. That way, When you go to your new duty station and you check into housing, they will stamp your leave form and say you are currently on permissive TDY for 10 days. Okay, that's before you even arrive to your unit, before they're able to get their hands on you and be like, no, we need you to start working now. Okay, that's one way you can take care of yourself. Exactly. Am I clear on that? Does everyone kind of understand? If you need some help on that, I can show you an example. And it's really
just to caveat that, the reason why that's important is because that 10 days doesn't come off of your charged leave time. It's given to you by the Army, so it's no way to save 10 days of leave time when you're going on.
Just a quick caveat on what you said about your orders that say this is when you end BOLC, this is your NLT, your 30-day LT. That's if you have 30 days of leave to take for there, minus that 10 days of permissive TUI. So for me, I was an ADL, I had 80 days of leave. So when I got done with BOLC, I took all 30 of those days off for myself. But if you only accrue 8 days of leave and you're not taking permissive TUI, then you report 8 days after you're done with BOLC. To that duty station. That's an NLT day. Right? That's not 30 days of free money. But they also do offer you free chicken, like let's say you want to do recruiting assistance for 2 weeks in your hometown. Or you still have to go to the duty station, like say back in Hawaii or something. You come here and you work for 2 weeks or whatever.
Or you could go in the hole, but I don't suggest doing that since the holiday will be coming up shortly after we do that.
It really depends, like when you go to BOLC. I went to BOLC October through January, so we did have Thanksgiving and Christmas. A lot of individuals were coming right out of ROTC just like you, and they didn't have any prior service, so those 30 days of leave they didn't have. So what they had to do was stay during block leave and work those days to accrue the leave, which is unfortunate, but we did it.
And one other note for those who go to Benning, what you said, sir, about making sure you get that permissive TUI signed off before you leave, they wouldn't let us do it from there. They said your gaining station unit has to do it. And when I got to them, they said no, where you came from was supposed to do it, so give it to you. So I didn't get the permissive TUI. None of the other LTs I arrived at spoken with got permissive TUI. So
I didn't get permissive either, but I know.
Did you even get permissive TUI?
I already lived here. I was cheap.
I did. The reason why,
How did you get it?
well, it's because when I got here, they didn't know what unit I was supposed to go to, so I was kind of hanging for about a month.
So here's my question: who did you talk? Who told you no? Keep it back at BOLC. Who told you no?
the IBOLC, I guess headquarters company guys, staff guys.
So the staff guys?
Yeah, they said, oh, your gaining unit's supposed to give it to you, and then showed up. No, you're supposed to get it back there, and then.
So okay, if you run into a situation like that, okay, talk to the people on your chain of command. Okay, I heard that this is an issue. I'm concerned about making sure I have time. It's just an addition to the DA-31, which they already have to do.
Especially if you're married.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Your wife will kill you.
Or your kids, yeah. So okay, so just guys address that with your team, okay, with your chain of command, and they'll see to it. Because you might run into that civilian or that guy that is just had so think about all the different BOLC people they have to process through, right? They just kind of get lazy. Like, no, I don't want to handle
Yeah, hi, sir. I don't know who to ask. Guess I'm asking everyone. Or Lieutenant Strickland. Or Benny. But yeah. Also, I have the option to report early, but only 10 days early. I'm actually leaving here immediately after commissioning, going to Maryland, visit my family, and going straight from Maryland to Fort Benning, trying to go 10 days early. If I report early, prior to my date, that would allow me time to kind of handle all that in process and getting housing and stuff. My only question is, do you recommend?
Yeah, it just depends on your housing plans. You won't report early. You'll just show up there and you get your housing, car, whatever else you want. I guess you already have a vehicle sorted out. And okay, well, yeah. I would recommend going early and getting that stuff knocked out. So your first week of BOLC, it's usually pretty light. And they kind of expect people to be working through that kind of stuff. But if you already have it set, then you're good to go. So, yeah, if you can, by all means.
I have also seen folks show up early through those kind of deals and get what's called white verded or black verded or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Where you get put on the in-processing check, for everyone else, because you were so high speed, you weren't getting early. Guess what, Lieutenant? Come on, you're going to be working.
Yeah, so like I said, you don't have to go report to them when you get there. Just figure out your stuff, get situated, and then you report they come along.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know if that's true because you're gonna be on leave form, right? You're on leave, so at some point you will have to sign back in off of leave, which then kicks in your permissive TDY, which then kicks in your, now I can go find a house, that kind of stuff, right?
So these guys are not on active duty as soon as the commission, right?
Yeah, do both.
Get orders from physical.
Which one
is
is
Active duty options are on active time as soon as they commission. If you're just a regular cadet, you don't go active duty to the day of BOLC.
Report.
Yes.
So they don't have to.
If you have questions about housing in Fort Benning area, just let me know after. I'll give you some contact.
It's called Victory
You're
Drive.
gonna stay at the UH house. That'll be a frat house for the rest of them.
And all you guys.
Marvin Woods waiting for us.
The Victory Drive, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's where all the victory.
What else? Team six.
I think one thing is just work on your speech and learn how to brief, because when I got to my unit, I was told, hey, we're going on Pacific Pathways, you're going too. So I only literally had 2 weeks to get to know everyone, and then deployed to Thailand, went to Korea, to the Philippines, and I just got back this Sunday. And what I did over there was pretty much brief the colonel every day. Hey sir, this is what's happening in the next 24 hours. This is what's happening next 48, next 72. Alpha Company's conducting striker gunnery here. They're conducting their CQB here. And you just gotta be confident in it. And sometimes you're just gonna be thrown into the fire. You don't know what you're gonna do. So, for me, being the chemical officer was sort of like an additional duty. I was just thrown in as a battle captain, so I was tracking where everybody's movements were. And, sometimes that responsibility just gets put on you, and you have to do something that you're uncomfortable with. So I would say is like take BOLC, take that time, and learn how to be confident and speak in front of people, your peers.
One thing you're probably not going to find out about at BOLC and all that about the duty station you're going to is what that duty station is on the path chart for. A lot of that they keep close to the chest until you actually get to the unit. I got to 3rd Brigade 227, and they were like, okay, we got lightning 4.